In Georgia, officials say an inmate used a gun to kill a kitchen worker at a prison before fatally shooting himself.
Yo, what going on?
Yeah, I see you at that. He
Yep.
got down. I was finna get ready to pull up on you anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. What you wanna you wanna do it on the phone or on video?
So what I was gonna do is send you a link so we can go live from both our pages. That way the people that tune in, whether it be now or it be later on, they can go ahead and subscribe to your page. And I just created like a couple of links already and then sent them out.
Alright.
That way we can go ahead and build that channel up.
Alright, that's smooth in. That's smooth. Yeah, send me the link then and we'll do that. I'm gonna be ready probably about 20, 30 minutes. I'm gonna be ready.
Alright, that's a bit.
Alright.
Alright, that's a little B, y'all. I got an interview coming with him here in Cali. But here's where we're at today. First of all, it's the best day of my life tomorrow, and I promise go ahead and do your little dance while they still playing your song. Man, look, some time ago, there was a kitchen worker who was unalived by a Georgia inmate with a firearm, with a gun inside the prison. So this is weird. This is weird because when I go to clips, there aren't any real stories. All the stories are like 30 seconds long. But we don't get in depth. We don't get in real depth as to what went on, how it went on, and what has been set in place so that this does not happen again. I'll tell you something else. I got some exclusive information from inside the Georgia Department of Corrections. It's not good. It's not good at all. And they keeping it under wraps. And when I start looking at stories, I promise you, we're going to look at this story and I'm going to go to another story. None of the stories in reference to, what's this young lady's name? Because we're going to give her a name. Y'all are going to say her motherfucking name. Let's see if they'll say it.
The Georgia Department of Corrections issued a statement saying that the agency is investigating the deaths at Smith State Prison. At this time, there are limited details, including how the inmate obtained a firearm, and those details have not been released. Now, the prison is a closed security prison that houses offenders considered violent, and it has the capacity for 1,500 inmates. This incident marks the second killing of a staff member at Smith State Prison in less than a year.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about, though. How with a firearm? All right, Georgia, stay on. We're gonna dive off into it today. What is her name? Let's identify her first, cause you notice this is major news. This is a major, bro. Right? When you don't give a person a name, bro, you don't make it personal. You don't make it personal. And then that's how stuff gets swept up under the rug. Let's see if this will give us something. What?
An inmate at Smith State Prison in Southeast Georgia shot and killed a 24-year-old female food service worker early Sunday morning.
Bro, why they won't say
the incident occurred around 4:30 a.m. in the prison's kitchen.
What is this sister's name, bro? I don't understand this, man. I understand it, but it's blatantly in our faces what caused the most. So, okay, maybe this will get it.
There are growing questions surrounding a worker's murder inside a Georgia State prison over the weekend.
Investigators say an inmate managed to get a gun inside Smith State Prison and then killed the kitchen staffer before turning the gun himself. Tonight, investigators say they believe the inmate and victim had a relationship. Fox 9's Rob D'Arienzo has been digging into the details of this very alarming story. Rob?
Yeah, and the biggest concern tonight is people really aren't sure about how that inmate managed to get his hands on a gun behind bars at one of the state's maximum security prisons and then use it. The Department of Corrections still does not have an explanation for us tonight, but we've since learned that the kitchen employee killed early Sunday morning was just 24 years old. The Georgia Department of Corrections says inmate Jadrakis Hart shot the Aramark food service worker inside Smith State Prison in southeast Georgia early Sunday morning. She's been identified as 24-year-old Orion Grace. The prison says Hart then turned the gun on himself.
That, to me, is shocking to the conscience, and I hope that this is a wake-up call for the Georgia Department of Corrections.
Joshua Schiffer has practiced criminal law in Georgia for 2 decades. He says this incident demonstrates a complete failure by the Department of Corrections leaders.
This institution, Smith, is a notorious institution because it's a high-security institution dealing with some of Georgia's most dangerous and threatening inmates.
Back in October, investigators say an inmate there shanked 42-year-old guard Robert Clark to death from behind. Earlier last year, the GBI charged the prison's warden in a sprawling contraband conspiracy. Hart was serving time for voluntary manslaughter and aggravated battery.
All right, here we go. Inmates prison, girlfriend shot. I don't know who that person is. Jail love gone wrong. Orion Grace. Here we go.
News at 6. I'm Mike Sealer.
And I'm Dawn Baker. Tonight, we continue to follow that deadly shooting inside the Smith State Prison over the weekend. It happened yesterday morning. The Georgia Department of Corrections says 24-year-old Orion Grace was working as a food service employee for Aramark in the prison when inmate Jadrakis Hart, who was in a personal relationship with her, shot her and then himself.
Our Tyler Mannion has been looking into this all day. Joins us now live in the studio. Tyler, what new information have you been able to learn?
Mike, Dawn, the Georgia Department of Corrections tells me this incident brings the total number of deaths in state prisons in 2024 to 130. That number, you might remember, includes 2 inmates who died in the same week at Smith State Prison back in February, Vicarious Mahoney and Janelle Gray. The GDC tells us both of those investigations are still pending autopsy reports right now. And we also asked the Department of Corrections for an update on the prison lockdown and pause to visitation rights today, but we are yet to get a response to those questions. Along with the GDC, here's who else we've reached out to for answers today. We are currently waiting to hear back from the Tatler County Sheriff's Office. That's where the prison is located. I've also talked with Matthew H. Lovett and Sons Funeral Home, who's arranging Grace's service. They tell us the details for that service are still being worked.
All right, man. So here's where it gets weird, bro. Talk about before I go to bed, the Georgia inmate was able to turn it. Okay, now let's see what her lawyer has to say.
News 3 learned that the pair had a personal relationship, but the attorney for Orion Grace's family says investigators should be more concerned with how a gun got behind prison walls.
The firearm in the prison system is beyond me that I can comprehend.
How a firearm got into the hands of inmate Jadrakis Hart is the question on the minds of Orion Grace's family. Their attorney, Malone Hart, sharing their devastation after the death of the young mother of 2.
There's no way that she could have brought it in based off the security she has to go through. It's the security elsewhere that's lacking, and we believe this firearm was actually brought in prior to her ever working there.
The family claiming they have not been treated with respect by the Department of Corrections.
No way that a family should lose a mama or a child, a daughter, because she's in a bad relationship. The focus should be on the system acknowledging that they should do some stuff, take some precautions to stop stuff from this from happening.
Let's stop right there. Because this individual unalived Orion Grace. Then I think he unalived himself. And so this happened about a year ago. So this is a horrific story. And her family should be effectively and aggressively compensated for their loss. And rest in peace to both of those individuals, but especially to Orion Grace. Here's the humdinger, though. I'm not going to say the institution, because I don't want to put nobody on blast. Not just yet. But here's the situation. The situation is that. Today's date is, because this happened when? This happened a year ago. Today's date is September the 1st. It's September the 1st, 2025. What I want to tell you is within the last 2 weeks, another firearm has been found inside the Georgia Department of Corrections. Facts. It's not going to hit the news. This is not the only firearm that has been found in the prison system. And I have details, but I don't want to give the show enough rundown, because then that will pinpoint the particular institution. And I ain't bad enough to not to be scared of these people around here. But this is what I do want to say. I want to say that these institutions are not safe, and they got guns. They got guns. Georgia gun. Look, listen to me. The rappers is the rappers is off the chain, but the chain gang is sure enough out of control, bro. That man just said 130 some deaths, and I'm telling you, as recent as last month, they still finding guns in the chain gang. How alarming is that? Why is this taking place? And why isn't anybody talking? And what y'all doing about it, bruh? First of all, you got drugs coming in the system by way of drone. I covered some stories on that. The drone, all this. Look, and I'm not just going to put it on Smith State Prison, but Smith State Prison is off the chain. It's off the chain. Bro, I be trying to figure out what Orlando. Okay, well, let me stay focused on this. Okay, so here's my concern as a citizen, is that the United States has the highest prison population in the world. That means that they have somehow transitioned slavery into mass incarceration. That's clear. Okay, so then these people from my community break the law. Then they're sentenced to rehabilitation. What's taking place is, inside the prison system, there's no rehabilitation taking place. There are people who are going to jail without addictions and coming home with addictions. There's people who going in and may have a GED in criminology and coming out with a PhD in criminology. And so what takes place is they come back to my community, man, worse than they ever been. A lot of them coming home hooked on drugs, bro. This is how the government broke down our leadership years ago. And I'm not saying that the Black Panther Party or Malcolm X is in jail and we waiting on them to come home. But all I'm saying is, when you take an individual who, I've been to prison before. I went for armed robbery. I did not see a cell phone. I never had access to those many drugs. I had access to marijuana. I'm going to tell you the truth. I never seen nothing else. I never heard a cell phone. I never seen a gun in my life. Not in my life, but not behind walls, bro. And let me tell you something. I'm no Samuel, well, I ain't going to say Samuel Jackson, but you remember the character that Samuel Jackson played in Django? And he's like, who that nigga on that nag? I asked you, who that nigga on that nag? What I'm saying is that, and I'm just being honest, them folks that was running the show when I was in Chain Gang, bro, they ain't play that shit. If I ain't mistaken, I think Tony Turpin might have been the warden. I don't know who the commissioner was or whatnot, but whoever, between 1996 and 2006, whoever was in charge of the Georgia Department of Corrections did not play that shit. Listen to me when I tell you that. Ass whipping wasn't nothing for you to get, homeboy. And they ain't get tired. And I ain't bigging them up, and I ain't trying to say massa was all that. I'm saying that when you take individuals who are not conditioned to exist in society, if you sit them in a place, if you give them structure, if you give them some warnings and details and representation as to what life is supposed to be, some of those guys will get better, bro. I am a product of the Georgia Department of Corrections. I'm sorry to say it, but here's the thing. I got a full pardon from the state. I got a license to carry, and they pay me to try to help people stay out of trouble. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. But what I'm telling you is that without the structure that was instilled by way of obedience or ass whipping, I'm trying to tell you that I would not be the individual that I am. And I know several people who come home and they get the job and they get it done and they stay out the way. My fear is that these people, because the incarceration rate is so high, these people are spending this time here, and instead of being rehabilitated, bro, they is coming home and they is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Bro, these folks taking strips. Man, it's different drugs. It's just a new wave, bro. It's a new wave, and the shit is dangerous. And they keeping it under wraps. Let me tell you something. If somebody hadn't found the gun back in the day off in that thing, bro, these folks would have shut the state down. You ain't seen the kind of nonsense that will come your way, bro. Let me tell you what they had then, what they don't have now is fear. I don't know about everybody else, but I was afraid. So I stay in my ass line. I have seen some of the ass women that come along with disobeying staff, bro. It ain't cool. And they'll lock you down. Your hair get long as Methuselah, bro. You'll sit in the hole. People that forgot you was alive. You'll come out that bitch like Jesus, folks. Your skin will be lighter. You'll be pale. You'll be light. Listen to me. Man, I have stayed in the hole for 6 months for bumping my head on some nonsense, going in there trying to steal. I'm trying to tell you that, bro, I learned in chain gang, stop stealing folks' stuff, bro. Leave it alone. Then I was able to get trades at Alto, bro. I took auto body and paint, barbering. I went to when Boatwright died and we all got transferred. I went to Washington State Prison, bro. I got BCST, is Business Customer and Service Technology. The computer book that we went to in that class when I came home and enrolled in college, bro, that was a class I had to take. And the crazy part is I zoomed through it because of that. I ain't saying go to prison and get your shit together. I'm saying that while I was there, I took advantage of the things that they offered me so that I could be a better person. And it's just that simple. But if you going into jail and these folk got pounds. Hold on, man. Hold on. Drugs. But these folk got drugs. Look at this shit, man. 2020. Is that in Georgia? South Georgia? Come on. Why did?
Tonight at 6, 23 people facing indictments accused of using drones to smuggle drugs and other contraband inside multiple Georgia state prisons. WJCL 22 News' Andy Cole joins us now live at the U.S. District Court in Savannah. And Andy, they used a drone similar to the one you have.
Yes, Shannon, here it is right here. This is a pretty typical consumer drone. We've taken the blades off of it, but this is what they look like. Small, compact, and you can find them on Amazon for just a few $100. Federal prosecutors say this group knew that and took advantage of it. This is just some of the 23 defendants named in a pair.
Damn. That's crazy. Damn. That's a lot of people, folk. Damn, that's a lot of people. I ain't gonna say double-minded. Here's the situation, bro. And this is gonna sound wild. I can't blame an individual who is locked up for breaking the law and coming into the system and breaking the law. This is what you do. I can't blame an individual who finds a way to take advantage of the system and does it successfully. I cannot. That's what you got locked up for. You were selling drugs on the street. You was breaking the law. What? Unless you institute some new tactics, if you don't put this individual in a situation where there's a shifting of the paradigm, where we reevaluate our moral compass and we're able to see ourselves in a different light, there is no rehabilitation, which I guess is job security. I can't blame nobody on this page. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And although that's what I'm talking about, the actions of individuals like this. But when I say I can't blame nobody in this situation, bro. If you was born into some nonsense, you get incarcerated for some nonsense. And when you get incarcerated, the place that you're incarcerated is the nonsense. Fuck shit always beget fuck shit. What you expect for these people to do? What are you expecting these people to do? I'm telling you, I'm from the same environment. When I get to chain gang, I'm on the same stuff. I try to steal. Guess what they do? Hide my ass in the hole, boost my security up, and then when I start realizing, hey man, based on your actions is gonna be where you're gonna be placed at. If you want to rock and roll, they got some niggas that don't sleep off in this chain gang. You going to F2 or Alto, shout it. They used to call that bitch the stupid deuce. Jews. I'm telling you, man, that thing was off the chain. I said to myself, I've been to a more pleasant environment inside the prison. How the fuck do I get back to this place? So I did what I need. I stayed my ass out of trouble. I went and got my GED. I went and got my culinary arts certification. I went and got my man, everything that they had, man. Computer class, auto body paint, woodwork. Man, get me everything, man. Give me everything. And then I started thinking about what I'm going to do when I come home. Hey, education is going to be your best asset. Breed, little stupid ass boy. So what I'm saying, if you're not setting these individuals up to renew their mind, bro, you're going to have more shit going on. Now, what is the Georgia Department of Corrections going to do now? Not then, but now, that is going to help these individuals come home and be better citizens. Because if not, then Georgia has one of the highest rates of recidivism known on the southern eastern United States. That means the rate at which individual comes back to prison is so high, bro. To me, it just baffles me. Are we in this? Is the government in this to help help reduce crime, or to keep the flow of money coming? Get in the comment section. But what I am telling you, the exclusive shit is they still finding pistols in Georgia chain gangs, bro. As recent as 2 or 3 weeks ago, bro. It's not gonna make the news. But isn't that alarming, bro? That's almost Brian Nichols. I don't know how, but I'll tell you how. Because Brian Nichols was able to obtain a firearm and was able to unalive a judge and some other people, from my understanding. And we'll look that up. But what I'm telling you is that people who have been convicted of these crimes are still ending up with firearms. I'm confused how you get locked up and you in prison and you catch a pistol charge. Make that make sense. Make it make sense, because it's not making sense, bro. Hey, man, y'all got to tighten up, man. Y'all got to tighten up. Your thinking is shipping, folks. Or, as I learned the sign language, or maybe this shit is going exactly how you want it to go. Maybe there's some intricate plot to institute some military or something that is beyond me. And you got to make the system look bad before you do it. What I'm telling you is that I'm a product of the Georgia Department of Corrections. I'm just being trained. I spent 10 years of my life in that motherfucker. And had I not got it together by way of the individuals who actually cared about rehabilitating, I would be in a jail cell right now. All I'm saying is these individuals deserve that same opportunity, because if you do not help these people stay out, they will go right back in. What we doing? What are we doing? I've seen the state get it right. Tighten up, folks.